Hello, it's Frank Klesitz, the CEO of Viral Marketing. Welcome to our live Google Hangout on-air database marketing hangout. As you can see, I'm not in the quite same room I usually am. I'm actually at my mother's house visiting her, so I'm on her computer with the headset. So please forgive the lower webcam video quality. This is the built-in webcam on a much older computer that we're using, but it still works great. But I'm excited for this event today because we have Realtor Dave Friedman out of Charleston, South Carolina. And he came to Viral Marketing about a year or so, a little more than a year ago. And he was only working just straight buyer leads. He got into real estate, put money into buyer lead generation, followed buyer leads, worked them. That's where all he was doing for his business. And then he made this transition. He said, look, I'm going to start working my database. I'm going to maybe start working my past clients, my centers of influence, maybe start communicating more with those long-term buyer leads that aren't really ready to buy right now. And he signed up for Viral Marketing. We sent these videos out. We started following the program, and he saw a huge increase in business, much more than normal. And I was like, whoa, we need to do a hangout to talk about why this is working. And I'm excited to have Dave here. So Dave, thank you so much for being on the hangout today, buddy.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Good, man. So it's going to be a friendly conversation for the next hour or so. So why don't you just tell everybody kind of, just to get to know you a little better, why you got into real estate. It was roughly in 2005 you got into real estate, and kind of where you're at today to be on track to realistically, and I hammered you on this, like you really, really realistically can track and project to do 1.25 million in GCI this year. So in 5 minutes, why don't you tell us your whole professional story of getting into real estate and kind of where you're at today?
Sure, absolutely. It stemmed from a little bit before 2005. My family's been in real estate forever. They've been land developers, realtors, and builders for 3 generations. So I knew that I wanted to get into real estate at a young age. I went out and I got my real estate license between the summer between college and high school in 1999. And I really didn't do anything with it. I just had it, and I sold maybe a few homes through college, and it helped pay for college and such. But right after college, I went out and got a job for one of the country's biggest home builders, and they were a great company to work for. I ended up transferring from Detroit, Michigan, where I grew up, down to Charleston, South Carolina, with the company in 2008. And I remained there for a few years until I decided I wanted to get out of that and get into general brokerage. And so I made the transition from selling new construction homes to general brokerage. And I had a good sales background regarding the sales process and understanding people and that type of thing. But outside of that, when you're working new construction sales, you're in an office and you rely on the builder's marketing to drive traffic to your door. Your job at that point is to convert that traffic into a buyer. So yeah, in 2013, I think it was February 2013, I got into general brokerage at that point. And so that's my story.
So you got general brokerage, and you went to what's comfortable was, I need some buyer leads showing up that want to buy a house versus,
absolutely,
which is what you did. So 2013, you got a general brokerage. Who's your broker?
I went to Remax, and I've since moved over to Keller Williams about a year ago.
Okay.
And so yeah, went to Remax, and the first thing that I needed to do was get some leads. So I bought a it's called Conversion. It's a buyer lead platform that just serves me as many leads as I can pay for. So I developed a budget for the platform and for marketing at $2,000 a month. Okay. Ran with it for $2,000 a month. So 24 grand a year. And I ended up selling about 34 homes to buyers that year that came through Conversion. And it was just a ton of work. Follow the buyer internet lead that everyone knows is a very, very low conversion, and it's a painful process. If you're good at it, you can convert anywhere from 1.5%, maybe up to 3%. I've heard some people converting that, but you're just chasing a lot of people and keeping in touch with 100 people to hopefully sell homes to 1 to 3 of them.
So if you sold, let's say it's a 1% conversion you were at, you sold what, 30 houses you said to buyers?
34.
34. So you had to follow with over 3,400 cold internet leads to roughly sell 34 houses?
Absolutely. I called every single one of them within 5 minutes of them coming through and followed up with them 6-7 times. And so it was a ton of phone calls, a ton of rejection. And a lot of people are trying to move to Charleston to retire, and they want to come to the city. So we get a lot of people that end up on the website that are just thinking about it, have never been here, or not sincerely interested in buying over the next 5 years, and a lot of conversations that didn't really lead to anything.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. You're working the buyer leads on the phone all the time, trying to follow up with them. Then you go show a house, and they don't make a decision.
Right.
But you still got a good ROI on that though. Out of the 24,000 you spent on just straight buyer leads, you made how much in your first year?
I closed $8 million.
Okay.
In volume. So I made about 270 grand, and yeah, I had a strong. My ROI was about 10 times, which is where you want it. So I had a little bit of expenses here and there for the office and a few other things, but as far as my marketing ROI, it was 10 times, and I was happy with that.
Great. Yeah, and David Robertson, Jay Reed, I know you got your questions over here. It should be streaming live for you. If it's not, let me know over here in the questions. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions during the event today, that's why we do these live. Feel free to ask any questions to Dave so we can get to know how we made this big transition. So back to the story here. So you're at this point, you're working all these buyer leads. What happened? What switched to the next step? What was the next phase? What was the pain point to, maybe what was the next thing?
I mean, the next thing was just me looking at other people around me and listening to other agents and groups of agents that were in Facebook groups and such, and everybody's all about working their database in their sphere, and people that they're Mets and they're non-Mets and haven't Mets, and I didn't have a system for that. I had one system, and it was crush buyer leads, and that was it. And I became great at it. I probably am one of the best at buyer lead conversion, but I wouldn't recommend taking that route. I think that there's a better way to develop business. I think it's good for one peer. So I decided to figure out what some other people are doing with their sphere of influence and their database. And I was in your database somehow, Frank, and so you were hitting me with the marketing, the great marketing that you send out. And I signed up for a getaway up in Atlantic City with about 10 people and Viral Marketing for a workshop. And I didn't have intentions to sign up with Viral, but I just wanted to learn more about how to market to my database. And after I left, it only took me a couple days after I came back home and pulled the trigger on it and signed up with it. And it was
so why Viral though? So there's lots of different options you can do. And by the way, back when Dave signed up, we were going around the country and like renting out vacation homes, and we'd invite everyone in and we'd get all their stuff built, and that was really cool. But now we can do it all virtually and whatnot. So Dave came up and partied with us in Atlantic City and got to know us, and that's how we got involved. And I really appreciate you doing that, coming to the workshop totally cold, not knowing us, which is pretty
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, that was fun.
Everybody with Viral that was there was on point and a great time.
But why database? Because this is such a key decision that you made, because a lot of times someone's like, you know what, I usually see two types of people. You have the people that only want to work cold leads online, and then you have people that only want to work their sphere. And that's a very unique shift that you made from talking to strangers every day to going to, I should probably talk to the people that I know. Was that difficult for you? Like, were you thinking of other ways you should go other than database as the next step, as the next pillar in addition to your buyer leads?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a million things to spend money on in real estate to become successful. And, we all know that a lot of them are a waste of money. And, the shiny objects can be a big distraction in your business and never come to fruition. But, I just knew that other agents were building their entire business based on the people that they knew. And from what I gathered is it's just a lot easier to work with people that already know you instead of trying to gain the trust of people that don't know you. And everybody knows 6-7 realtors out there. And so being that guy that was making a cold call and trying to connect with people and trying to earn their business and provide value was a lot more difficult than just talking to the people that I already knew. And I had zero system set up for my sphere and my database. I didn't even really have much of a database that I knew of, and I was sitting on it. I just didn't know it. And I literally didn't even have business cards until about July 2014. And so, I was literally a secret agent. Like no one that I knew that I was a realtor, any kind of, person in the real estate business. I just came into the office every day, crushed it with people that didn't know me. And I just wanted to increase the conversion of the amount of people I had to talk to earn the business for my clients. And it just seemed like my database was the first place to go to before I moved on.
So how many people did you have in this database? So let's talk about this. So you probably had a lot of, you probably had 3,200 buyer leads, I would say at least, of emails sitting in.
Absolutely.
So 1% conversion, you had to get 3,200 opt-ins over a year to sell 32 homes.
Right, yeah.
So we had those emails. Okay. What other sources of emails did you have that we brought into your email list? And what was the pre-existing relationship with those various lists or audiences?
I didn't have much.
Did you know anybody?
Pardon?
Did you know anybody? Tell me about your
Absolutely.
database. Let's talk about the list that you bring in. Tell me about the quality and where we started with the big list that we send the 2 videos a month out to.
Sure, absolutely. So I didn't think I had much of a database. I of course had at least 3,200 people that were buyer leads through conversion. On top of that, I was sitting on a ton of connections that were in my Facebook. So all my friends in Facebook, you were able to pull every single contact out of there, and I didn't think it was possible. I never even thought about it. But
how cool is that? By the way, for everyone watching, there's a workaround on Facebook. So you have all your Facebook friends on your personal page. If you link up your Facebook page to your Yahoo account, you can pull in the emails of all your Facebook friends, send them a little reconnect message, and bring them into your database.
So Facebook was one option. LinkedIn was another option. You went in there and exported every single contact that I had in there. And I pretty much gave you access to every single email account that I've ever had personally or professionally. And anything we had access to, we just went in there and took every single contact out of it. And it was tough because I almost wanted to sit back and scrub the list and think about who I should add in there. And I think the best approach that we had was to not overthink it and pull every single name in contact and just add it and not spend any kind of time scrubbing it and wondering if we should send it to them or not. And there's a lot of people that get my videos in Michigan and that have never unsubscribed, and they still write me back and keep in touch with me, even though they're not in my marketplace, not looking to buy, but these are just contacts that I had from when I lived in Detroit. But so we were able to build a database pretty quickly just with all of my email addresses and accounts that I had set up, Facebook and also LinkedIn.
That's great. So probably about 30 minutes, we got all of those emails exported into one big list that automatically deduplicated all of them. And then we sent a simple reconnect message to all of them saying, hey, I'm in real estate. I don't want to be a secret agent. I want to keep you updated. If you don't want to receive anything from me, I want to publish videos, just unsubscribe. But going forward, you can expect 2 great educational video updates about what's happening in Charleston real estate, so you know where the value of your home is headed and tips to improve the value of your home. I look forward to staying in touch with you, right? Or something to that effect for the first message that went out. Do you know, my guys in the office are hunting down, I should have had this before the hangout, I apologize, but your open and click rates and how big your list was to start. Do you know roughly how big your list was when you started, when you pulled all those contacts?
No, I have no idea. We talked about it. We put it together. I can't remember what that.
Yeah, the guys in the office are trying to pull that for me. I'll see if they can get that over sent to me so I can share it here on the screen. But I think that's really cool because a lot of times, you look at all these people, it's like, should I send it to local realtors? Should I send it to people back home from another state? What should we do? And honestly, if you would have gone down that path of, cleaning up your database, which is like hearing, nails on a chalkboard to me, it will never get done, will it?
No, absolutely not. You'll delay the entire process, and it'll defeat the purpose anyway. It'll just, you can give those people the opportunity to unsubscribe. And for all you know that, it could be somebody that would never buy a home with you, but they may know somebody that would refer you business because they get your updates.
Yeah. So let's talk about, as we kind of head into the database marketing hangout, I want to talk about what you're doing to build your list. I want to talk about what you're doing for your videos to send out. I want to talk about how you're following up with the people watching them, and apparently we haven't even been doing that. We'll talk about what we should be doing there. Let's talk about building your list. So like, how many people do you talk to a week? How are you getting new emails to feed into your database to add to that existing export that we originally got?
Sure, absolutely. It's any opportunity that we have to gain somebody's email address and number, we do that. We go for it. We talk to a tremendous amount of people between expired phone calls and FSBO phone calls and buyer lead phone calls and so on that we just make an effort to tell people. We send out informational videos that cover what's going on in the market, the changes that are going on, and some variety of topics. And I think our next video is going to be something about how to handle multiple offer situations for buyers and sellers. And then we also do just market updates where we share statistics about if the market's growing or not and how many homes are selling per month and such. But yeah, so we focus a lot on that. But I think that on a daily basis, it's an effort to put together as many contacts into the database. And every time I talk to people, I just try to share value with the content that we have and encourage them to give me their email address so I can keep them updated with what's
So
going
how
on.
many people would you say you talk to in a week, and how many of those people give you their email address?
As a team, we now have an ISA making phone calls and 2 buyer agents, myself, and we're connecting with, a few hundred people a week, at least a few hundred people. Yeah, as far as connection.
Talking to like an actual contact, a few hundred a week?
Yeah, right.
That's
we make a lot of phone calls. We're, that's part of it.
To talk to a couple hundred people a week.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, between all of us, we're talking about 300 a week, and we just make an effort to connect with those people. And
who are you calling?
We're calling Zillow leads. We're calling conversion leads. We're calling expireds. We're calling FSBOs, and now we're calling our database, which we just started doing too.
Good.
Yeah.
So out of those 300 people you speak to a week, how many give you an email address, or at least say, go ahead and send me your videos? Maybe you already have it on file, but you're reconnecting on. Like, how many opt-in permission-based emails are you getting a week to add to your list?
Some of the leads come through with email addresses, and between that and the people that actually give them to us, if we don't have their email address, like an expired lead, for example, we're probably getting about 200 to 220 emails a week. I'm sorry, no.
Whoa.
We're 200 to 220 a month.
Okay, I was like, that's a week. That seems very high. So 220 a month.
220 a month for buyer leads, and then our expireds, we probably get about 8 expireds a day, and we probably get about 2 email addresses a day from expired leads. And then when we're out and about in the town, if we happen to meet somebody or connect with somebody on a personal level, we'll just try to add them to the database. And me personally, I don't know what my team does, but me personally, I probably add about 2 to 3 people a day.
Good. So this is your whole team. So you have the leverage of your team talking to people, bringing the email addresses in.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
not putting these people really in any special, individual drips. They're just all getting your 2 videos a month. That's it, right?
So they're getting 2 videos a month, and we'll sometimes send out an email that you'll put together for us, Frank, to send out to the database to try to gain some kind of reaction. And
the lead generation emails.
The lead generations, yeah, which totally rock.
Those things crush, don't they?
Yeah, they have a huge impact on our business.
Let me explain that for anyone watching. So at Viral Marketing, we round up all your emails. And by the way, Rachel, I love your comment. Rachel says over here, I've been trying to clean up my database for 16 months now. I gave up several months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, every day. I'll tell you, I work with everybody. No one has a clean database. That's why you just go in there, you rip it all, put it into one list, deduplicate. Everyone gets the 2 videos, and you get the results a lot faster. And you're a perfect example of that. So I just want to say is that we send the 2 videos a month out on the 1st and the 15th that are educational in nature. Then about every quarter, about every 3 months, you can go to your list with like a direct offer, plain text, be like, hey, buy a house or sell your house. Now's a great time. Find out what it's worth. Search for homes online. If you're interested in buying or selling, reply to this email or call me now. And that's totally fine doing that about every 3 months. You can't do it every 2 weeks, but every 3 months you can do that. And the summer magical seller lead generation email should be done here and posted on our website for everyone to use, and you're free to use it the next couple of weeks here in April, which will be good. So, all right, so they all get the 2 videos a month and they get the direct email offer. Is there anything else you want to cover when it comes to building your database? We talked about how you started and where you got it and how you extracted it. We talked about how you're building it. Anything else as far as actually getting a good list? Any questions anyone has on building a database, feel free to ask you right here on the right.
The only other thing I was attempting to do recently, just an effort to put more people into our database, is doing some book lead generation, which I don't think converts at a high level when it comes to buyer and seller Facebook lead generation, but it's fairly cheap, and we get people's contact information when they connect with my Facebook page and myself on Facebook. And from there, we're able to get their email addresses and continue to add them. And I don't know how successful it's going to be. We just started doing this. And hopefully, I think anything that will contribute, especially at a low cost, to building that database is going to be extremely helpful.
Okay, great. So let's move on to the next step of the core viral marketing plan. So the first part of the viral marketing plan to get more sales from database is to start with the database that you have, your existing asset, which we exported, commit to building it, getting emails, right?
Yep.
Watching this on the Google Plus page, you'll see the 3 steps here above in the banner. The second part of the plan is the 2 educational videos a month. Why don't you tell us about some of the struggles or challenges, if you had any, or tips to do well at the 2 videos a month? Let's start with this. Were you scared to do the 2 videos a month?
No. Like in terms of getting in front of the camera, not so much. I'm pretty comfortable with that. The only thing I was worried about, and one of the big reasons that I decided to hire you was the accountability. Because if I'm not shooting my video on time, Jason is blowing my phone up and sending me emails and asking where his video is. He wants his video so he can send it out to the database. And that's huge. And he's been a huge help because he will, when we do some kind of outside of the market updates talking about statistics, we'll have sometimes a topic. And so he'll serve me with a very valuable topic to just read off to my audience. And so this one, like I said before, is going to be about how to handle multiple offers for sellers and buyers. So he'll give me an outline for it, and I'll add what I think I need to add for my market. And so he's just a huge help in delivering the content to me, just making it very easy for me to sit down and shoot the video. It takes me about 10 minutes if I have to shoot it twice if I don't nail it the first time.
So where can someone go if someone wants to see these videos? What's the address of your video blog? Where's your YouTube channel? What can someone type it on YouTube if they want to follow along here to take a look at the videos you've been shooting to find your past topics?
Yeah, YouTube. If you search Dave Friedman Real Estate, it'll pop up. If you go to davefriedmantv.com, you'll see it there too. It's Friedman. Well, Frank, I think we lost your audio.
Yeah, don't press the mute button.
You're back, buddy.
Okay, back to where we were. For the 2 videos a month, now how are you shooting those? Are you shooting them on your own, or are you doing them webcam style where we interview on a webcam?
I shoot them on my own. What I try to do is, since I alternate a market update and then a topic, what I'll do is I'll pick about a 1 to 1.5 hour time block in my calendar and sit down and shoot both videos at once, which sets me free from having to do another one for about 30 days.
Yeah, so you do it 2 at 1. You set 1 monthly appointment to shoot 2 videos.
That's right. So I do it 12 times a year, and we end up with 24 videos that go out to my database.
Okay. What type of camera do you use, Ben asks, as well as an external microphone?
The camera that I use is the one that you sent me. It's this Logitech. I'm not sure what model it is. But
that's the Logitech C15, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Which I'm not using for this video right now, but I'll typically set that up on my laptop, and I'll copy and paste the content into some kind of teleprompter. And speed 5 works well for me. It just works well with the pace that I talk at. I have it down to a science. I just copy and paste it in there. I hit the space bar and it starts scrolling across the screen, and I just try to keep my eyes at the top of the screen so it looks like I'm.
Oh, interesting. I've never even have thought about that, and it's so obvious. So the webcam's sitting right here on top of your computer.
Yeah.
And you have you load what you're going to say. I'm assuming it's just one line across the top, so your eyes are looking as close to the webcam as possible and not going down the screen, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What's the software? What do you use to do the teleprompter software?
I'm not even sure. I Google it. I just Google some kind of like computer
webcam teleprompter software.
Teleprompter, and it's the same one that pops up at the top every time. I go there and copy and paste it in and let it rip.
Interesting. So, okay, because you shoot them on your own. Now, if you're working with your coach at Viral, like if you're working with Jason, we can just actually interview and have a discussion like this and like take a video like this and edit it up. You know, do something educational, but you do it that way, which is totally fine. Yeah. As far as your webcam, you use the Logitech webcam we ship you. They run about $50-$60. And are you using any type of external microphone at all? Or are you just using the native microphone on the webcam?
The microphone on the webcam. So everything's built into it.
So the total investment for your entire video package is about $50 for the videos you wanted. And if somebody wanted to look better, maybe they want to look like they're on their mom's computer. So here, you can certainly get a headset like this, or you can get one of those off-board microphones that that will look like Larry King sitting on your desktop. And I think the best webcam out there, I don't know if it works with a Mac, is the Logitech C920. That thing is really amazing, but it only works on very powerful computers. That's why we don't ship it necessarily to everybody. So I hope that answers your question there, Ben. Topics. So we talked about the monthly appointment for the 2 videos. We talked about kind of how you shoot them. Topics. How do you come up with topics that people actually care about?
I think they have to be relevant to what's happening in the market. And there's a lot of news, regarding real estate and then the state of the market with real estate and some of the struggles that sellers and buyers are going through. And so we just try to address whatever's probably the biggest trending topic of the time. So when Zillow and Trulia, had their business arrangement, released to the public, that was one topic that we decided to shoot. As soon as the market started to turn, we just started shooting about how we feel like the market's starting to turn. When inventory levels dropped and days on market dropped significantly, we decided to shoot on that. And, it's been a struggle for buyers to find homes lately just because inventory is so low that we do have some unconventional methods that we can help buyers with to find homes. And so we shot a video on that. And coming up soon, since there's a lot of multiple offer situations, just giving advice to buyers and sellers about how to handle that. I think if it's relevant, if it's current and relevant, people want to watch it and they're interested in it. And outside of that, my other videos that are not topics, they're just market updates. I'm just talking about inventory levels, how prices are changing, what it's like to be a buyer, to be a seller in the market, what we're currently doing to help overcome some of the issues that they're having. And so that's pretty much it. One's informational with the current topic, and then the other one is just how the market's trending.
Yeah, what I want to share here is what I'm hearing is that you're out there every day in real estate and you're listening to what the market's saying and what's going on in the market, and you're listening to questions people are asking you, and that's really the topics you're using. And if you can't think of something, Jason gives you a topic, but instead of using a canned topic, you're really thinking about what people actually want to hear based upon the conversations in your Charleston marketplace. And I got some good news. I got the open and click report from my office I want to share. So Ben, thank you. He says qprompter.com might be a solution for a little prompter. And then Jay said the Snowflake is a good audio microphone. The Snowflake is awesome. You can also try the Yeti, the YEDI. Those are about $100 microphones. They make you sound amazing sitting right here if you don't want to have the whole headset thing going on when you're making your videos. All right. Let me see if I can share my screen. So if you're watching this Hangout and it's covered up, you want to watch this here. Let's take a look at your open clicks. Can you see that, Dave?
I can.
Hopefully it's not too small for everybody. You might have to maximize this window. But let's take a look here. So 2 in October, 1 in November, 2 in December, 1 in January, 2 in February, 1 in March. You missed a couple vids.
I did.
That's okay. All right. So here's your sent. So you start with about 8,700. You're now at about 11,000 emails. Your open rate is hovering really nicely. You have about 1,900 people. So get this, man. You sent this out. 1,900 people saw the image in your email. 1,900 people saw your video with your headline. And sometimes that's all it really needs to be. They don't have to even watch the video. It's just that you have the trappings of authority where they actually see your video in an email. You know what I mean? And then 96 people click through to watch it. So the number one engagement that you have? Dave Friedman, Best of Charleston 2015, had the number one click-through rate as far as amount of people. Is that crazy? Why is that? Why is that? Why do you think that one got the most amount of engagement of people watching it? Then the second one was the seller lead generation email. Yep, that crushes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me why. I mean, if you can see this, why are these numbers the way they are? What do you think?
I sent that Best of Charleston email out to my database, asking them to vote for me to as the best realtor in Charleston. I won the year before, and I was going for it again this year. And I don't know. I guess I have some good followers. A lot of people decided to click on that and vote for me. But yeah, the seller lead generation email that you had sent out, we listed 3 homes off that one email.
That's great. And if anyone's interested, go to Google and type in the here's what I call it, and I write these every 3 months. It's called the magical seller lead generation email, because it really is magical, is it not, Dave?
It is. Absolutely.
It is magical. And I write one every quarter, and I put up on the website. So if you Google the spring, actually, no, the winter, the winter 2014 magical subtle lead generation email, that would probably still work. I'll have a new one coming out up on the website, so pay attention to that. That's just a plain text email you can copy and paste and just mail to your entire list of contacts. And that drives them back to a free value report, some type of free value report opted on your website. Or people just might just reply back saying, come list my house off that one. But you have to understand the reason these vote best of Charleston emails, these direct seller emails, and the subtle lead generation email worked, Dave, is because they've been seeing your videos and they like you and they have that foundation of trust and rapport and top of mind where you can come on top of that and pull that response.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to say about picking a topic, or are there any questions over here in the Q&A about picking great topics to send out to your list to actually engage with? Any tips you can add for anybody?
Regarding that, I don't think so. Not really. Sometimes I've done, we had a big shakeup in the flood insurance industry, and in Charleston, we're in a few there's many flood zones that surround us. So a ton of people were scared about buying a home. A lot of sellers thought they needed to put their home on the market and sell right away. And there was just a lot of uncertainty of what was going to happen with flood insurance. So one thing that I did was I brought one of my vendors in, who's an insurance agent that we refer business to. And we just did a Q&A with him, and we just shot a video and answered all the most common questions that people would have for us regarding flood insurance. And he actually came with all the questions, and I just interviewed him. And it's, it's on my viral page, that davefriedmantv.com. And I think it just helps solidify you as the expert in the industry, because you're also networking with other experts and have the knowledge and know how to answer, clients' questions. And it just shows that you're on top of it. So, I do plan on doing some more interviews with some of my vendors regarding interest rates in the mortgage industry, some contractors, like how to choose a contractor and that kind of thing too.
Dave, you got to get them to send that video out to their database too.
Absolutely.
Or take that magical subtle lead generation email and ask them to send that out to their list back to your website.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's actually what we recommend for a co-marketing program. And I know I'm throwing out Google here, but if anyone's interested in what Dave was talking about, interviewing vendors and maybe seeing how the vendors can send you, or co-marketing partners, I like to say is a better term, interviewing co-marketing partners to get them to send the data out to their list and send promotions out to their list tastefully to drive leads for you. Google the official viral marketing co-marketing plan. And in there, I have a whole list of industries I think it would be best for you to interview and bring on as co-marketing partners. And ideally, you can structure it probably in a way, obviously check with your attorney for risk, but to help you offset your entire cost of viral is possible to do. So anyways, question from Jay Reed. What percentage of your business comes from your database marketing, and where does the rest come from?
Sure, absolutely. So year to date, 52% of my business, 2015 year to date, for pending and closed homes comes from database, and 48% come from either buyer leads, or so just simply internet buyer leads, or expireds. And so go ahead.
So you're going to do 1.25 million in GCI in Charleston off of buyer leads, database, and expireds.
Yeah, absolutely. So year to date, we're 44 closed and pending, and 23 of those are from my database, and 21 of those are from either expired or buyer, simply just buyer leads, internet buyer leads.
So I want to go a little deeper into this. So now we're kind of, we talked about building the list. We talked about the videos going out. But this just sounds too good to be true. This is why you're on this hangout. Okay, so you're telling me that we rounded up all these random emails. You started hitting them with 2 videos a month, and people are just magically calling you saying, come list my house. There has to be more to the story than this. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Well, we're not following our numbers could be so much better with our data. And the reason I say that is because, in 2014, I closed 60 homes, and it was split perfectly down the middle, 50-50, where 30 of them came from my database and 30 of them came from mostly internet buyer leads. And then there were a few expireds. I started prospecting expireds about halfway through the year. And anyway, I am not calling any of the people that open the emails or click on the which is probably one of the
Or the
most.
people that click on links say, I'm interested in buying or selling a home. You're not calling those people.
No, I haven't called them at all, which is something that you should do. And so I've recently hired an ISA. She started with me back in middle of January. So she's calling expireds for me. And she's also
going to call the open and click reports of the people.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up one more time for everybody. Hang on. I want to show this open and click report because this is just so important. If I have it. Hang on, everyone.
2014 without calling a single one of those.
Yeah, they all just called you or they replied back to your emails, which is incredible.
I know. Yeah,
and I'm just trying to go back to, you must have a lot of, I mean, are these buyer leads? Are these unconverted buyer leads replying back? Are these like friends and family? Like who's just getting your videos and saying, come do business with me? Who is it?
I moved here in 2008. I have no family here. I moved here not knowing a single person. And so I'm fairly new to the area. And outside of that, some friends have bought homes with me, but last year I had 30 deals for my database, and I think out of those 30 deals, there were maybe 3 or 4 friends that ended up buying with me.
So they're the buyer leads. A lot of them are the long-term buyer leads that you've been working that came in from conversion back in the day.
Yeah, that and people that I try to connect with every single person on Facebook that I can, and also with LinkedIn. So
that's how you pull their email address. When you friend them up on Facebook, you friend them up on LinkedIn, we just pull on their email address that way using those little tricks.
Right. Yeah. So I wouldn't say they're all buyers, but all from the buyer lead, internet leads. But
I would say they're acquaintances. They obviously know who you are. You kind of have this internet presence, and they just know of you and they hire you.
Oh, totally, absolutely.
Okay, let's go back to this open and click report. Hopefully, you guys can see this, and I'll try to expand it here so it's a little bit bigger here for you. But again, you may have to widen. This is a large. You may have to widen your screen. But basically, there's 96 people here to call on this one, 126 people here on this one to call, 171. I wouldn't worry about calling the opens. That's like 2,300 people to slog through. That's ridiculous, right? But if you gave me a list of 12,000 people that arguably opted in for a home and live in Charleston or know you on social media, and I whittle it down to 171 people or 142 people that were interested in like selling their home because they clicked that link, certainly we should be calling those 142. And those are the names that, Dave's ISA is going to be going through to make the calls. Okay. Do you know the script? What's the script they're going to use to call the database, Dave?
You sent it to me, and Jessica has it. I forgot what it is. It's something about, I appreciate you looking for your home value, and we can put together a specific equity evaluation for your home that's not computer generated, and just trying to figure out their motivation and setting an appointment to meet with them.
Cool. All right. So Henry asks, we got some good questions coming in here. You have already closed or pended this year 2/3 of your production from last year. Is this attributed to the conversion of previous leads from your lead generation, or is it from the increased attention on your database? Excellent and well-worded question, Henry. Kudos to you. You spent some time writing that one.
Thanks.
Do you get the question? I think we kind of dived into this. Is it coming from, is this coming from buyer leads converting with you, or is it coming from just, I'll have you answer the question again, but I think I know what the answer is.
Well, I've started, my database is not just the buyer leads that I've collected. Again, when I'm out and I just meet people, I try to get their email address and set them up on our viral campaign. So there's a lot of those people that I've maybe met one time, or expired sellers. I talked to a lot of expired sellers at the last half or last quarter of last year. And I was able to gain a ton of emails by doing that. And just staying in front of those people is so important. And so, it was just a combination of me continually adding to my database and staying in front of people and just being that top of mind person when they think of when it comes to buying or selling a home. And it's not I went through and I literally did not call a single person that opened an email that we sent out last year, and they all just came to me. And it's not rocket scientist. It's not rocket science at all. It's pretty simple, and I can't believe how simple it is and how foolish I was not to do it in 2013.
That's incredible. Yeah, so to answer the question, I think, yeah, certainly you're getting some of that long-term conversion from your buyer leads that were pent up sitting there in your conversion database. But also you're out talking to lots of people. You're out there talking to expired. You're out there talking and connecting with people online, and people are friending you up and you accept their friendship. So you connect with them on LinkedIn, you connect with them on Facebook, and then when you do that, you now have access to their email address and you pull them into the viral marketing database. I love that.
Yeah,
So
it's a long
accepting every connection, every friend request, and you're pulling them in, you're getting their email and pulling them in your database for the 2 videos a month.
Yeah, and it's a long-term nurturing plan. I mean, that's all it is just being the expert and staying in front of people and not discriminating against who you send this out to. We just closed a home with the magical seller email. We just closed a home with somebody that works for one of the home inspection companies here locally, and we don't even really use that home inspection company a majority of the time, but somehow they ended up in our database and they were receiving emails and they reached out to me and we ended up selling their home, listing it and closing it. And so a lot of these people, I can't even tell you where some of these people came from. I could probably source it back to, maybe Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. But I mean, there's a lot of these people, these names that I don't even recall. I looked through my email communication. I've never emailed with them, never talked to them, but I think they just view me as the expert and they just come to me when they need something.
Yeah, so we'll move on to another question here from Jay, which is excellent. But what it is your mindset went from cold buyer leads, and then you widened it to a lot more sources of way to meet people and brought all those people on the one list. That's basically, I can summarize from what you said there. Yeah. Jay Reed, let's help this guy. I am stuck with my business. 45 homes per year is my average. Do you have a coach that blends all this together? Last year, I killed myself with Realtor.com co-brokerage, but burned myself out. And if any of you are on some of our databases, Dave is actually on a hangout tomorrow, which I will be on with Lars Hedenborg, one of our clients here at Viral, who I believe is helping with that. But what can you say to Jay, who's maybe, I'm assuming Realtor.com co-brokerage is the online lead portals. He's working the internet leads. Is that right, Jay? What advice could you give him?
Yeah, I think that I'm not necessarily a systems-based person. I love to follow systems and I believe in them. I had a coach from beginning of 2013 until the beginning of 2014 that really helped me with the sales aspect of lead generation and converting them. And I needed somebody to help me build better systems. So after I stopped using the previous coach, which is the National Association of Expert Advisors, Kinder Reese, great people. And so I stopped using that at a certain point, and I went coachless for I think it was about 6 months, which was probably the worst decision I've ever made. And then I hired Lars Hedenborg, and we'll be talking with Lars tomorrow and talking about how he helps my business too. So it's just, your coach is somebody to hold you accountable and also to help with your systems and your pain points and where your bottlenecks are, and really just breaking through where you're stuck at 45 transactions a year. They'll find a way to help you with that.
And for what it's worth, I mean, this isn't my time to share these amazing thoughts, but I just work with so many people that have come from buyer leads, and now we have to get them thinking database of long-term relationships. And it is an entirely in-depth, like human emotional mindset shift to do that. And that was just very easy for you. And I think that's a very key takeaway of how you went from buyer leads to database. Like, oh, that was easy. That's very difficult for a lot of people. All right.
I just made the decision and I didn't overthink it. I knew that you were way better at figuring this out than me, and just following every bit of your advice and implementing it. And I've fallen off my 2 videos a month, here and there.
I caught you. There's 2 you didn't do.
I know, absolutely. And but yeah, I just ruthlessly implemented what you told me to do.
Good. And that's what your coach here at Viral Marketing will do, is that we're going to hold you accountable to the scope of the Viral Marketing plan. But let's talk about, I like this one. How do you stay clear of anti-spam regulations? That's probably one for me answered, but do you have a take on that one, Dave?
Yeah, I don't know what the answer to that is. I mean, I don't go out and buy big lists to send, information to. So I don't know if that's something that we're not supposed to do. But the people I'm talking to, I'm just telling them that I will set them up on some updates. And aside from the LinkedIn folks I've connected with and Facebook, I don't know how that aligns with what we've done. But most of the people have given me agreement to send them information.
Yeah, so you're talking to people, and obviously that's a verbal opt-in, right?
Right.
What they're probably mentioning is like the buyer leads, because they're really only opting in for property updates, not to receive your videos. And then also, us pulling all these email addresses of all these, people that have been sitting in your database for 20 years, start hitting you with videos over again. How is that not spamming, right? Well, the whole idea behind spamming is sending people stuff they don't want, and you want to make it very easy to unsubscribe. So first off, all of these emails are loaded into a professional email marketing software. We use Vertical Response, verticalresponse.com, and that puts the opt-out, the unsubscribe at the bottom. It puts all the CAN spam regulations on the email when you send to these professional servers, okay? So that's the first thing. But also, before we start sending out the 2 videos a month, you always want to send out, Gene, what's called a reconnect message. And it's funny because I just wrote a brand new one up on our website, getviral.com. I want to share it with you. And Dave, this is good for you to know that if you ever have some new lists, let's say you found some email like AOL Instant Messenger from back in the day, you figure out a way to get those emails, you want to stay in touch with those people. Here's the reconnect message that I'd probably recommend you send out, okay? So Dave, work with me here. Can you see this okay on my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
You see the smiling picture of Scott here?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So like I said here, let me keep scrolling down. Let me read that to you. Here's the subject line. So let's say you have all these emails. Here's what you send them. The subject line is reconnecting. Hey, it's Dave. I wanted to reach out by email to reconnect and ask your permission to stay in touch. I have your email here, or I see we're connected on social media. So that's why I'm writing you briefly today. As you know, I sell real estate in Charleston, and there's a lot happening in our market when it comes to your home value. I like to keep you updated every 2 weeks with a quick educational video tip and Charleston market update, something you'll find very useful and informative on local topics. I certainly do not want to spam you. And if you don't want to hear from me, no problem. Just unsubscribe at the bottom of this email and you won't get any more emails from me. Any questions I can answer for you in my first video, just reply back and let me know. If I can ever be of service helping you, or you know someone who wants to buy or sell a home, I'm here to help. Look forward to staying in better touch. There you go. And it's right up on the website. If you go to Get Viral, you can take that and swipe that for yourself if you're here on the Hangout today. But something like that's the first email I would send out, and then give people permission to unsubscribe. Then you can send them your 2 videos a month. Jay Reed asks, do you do any traditional farming at all?
No. No, not farming as I understand is sending sending out some kind of mailers or some kind of like tangible content to a specific neighborhood. I don't do any of that. I've recently, about 3 months ago, I've only done it once. For Thanksgiving, I sent out postcards to about 350 people in my database, offering to give them a Thanksgiving pie. So it was just a free gesture. And then I did something again like that to about 350 people for Valentine's Day. And so I didn't hit the whole database with it. It was just the people that I've categorized as people that have done business with me or have referred me business or likely to refer me business.
Good. If there's any other questions, feel free to ask questions. The last 10 minutes here, I want to open to questions, but I got a couple questions too. Let's talk about return on investments. You're spending $6,300 a year, about $525 a month, to hire our services to edit the videos, send the emails out, interview, do all this work. Okay.
Right.
How are we measuring return on investment of that money spent?
That's really, so the only thing I'm spending on my database is Top Producer as a place to really keep my database. I'm setting people up on market snapshots in Top Producer, and if I have an address for them. I've recently sent out postcards, as I just mentioned, to the database or to a select amount of people in the database. And then with Viral. So my marketing expenses it's not much. I think it's between $525 with Viral, and I'm probably paying about $150 for Top Producer. And those postcards cost me $700 total between the two of them.
You're at about $1,400 a month.
Right. Yeah.
So you're spending so it's $700 a month on the postcards?
No. I've only sent postcards out twice in about 6 months, and so that was 700 total for those.
Yeah, so just another $100. So you're probably in 700 a month.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 700 a month.
So if you spend $700 a month, now there's probably a lag time when it comes back to you. But roughly, if you spend $700, how much are you getting back from your database in GCI?
I added up the 44 closed and pending that I have this year so far. 23 were from my database. That's 52%. It represents about 165,000 in GCI, and my spend on that was $2,375. So it was a 70 times return.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So keep doing more of that. Keep growing that list. And what's nice is that no matter how big you grow your list, your cost doesn't go up outside of maybe some postcards.
Right.
Yeah. Rachel asks, and feel free to ask questions, everybody. This is why you're here live and why you showed up and not watching the replay. Are you using any of the top producer letters? Rachel asks.
No, I don't know. I don't know what those are, and I'm not using them.
Okay. I do know that on the Hangout tomorrow, and Jay Reed, we're going to be talking tomorrow. If you go to larshedenborg.com, there's a Hangout with him tomorrow who is actually Dave's coach. We're going to be diving into coaching and kind of beyond the scope of database, like what else he's doing. But I do know that you are doing some mailers out to expireds. Is that right? Or at least some postcards.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the way you're getting expireds to call you, is you're mailing expireds and they call you, on top of some of the calls that you or your ISA is making?
Most of our expired appointments are outbound phone calls. And, we do mail to expireds as well. We don't have a great response, and we've tried multiple different mailings. The newest one is working really, really well that we've been doing over the last, I'd say, 3 months. But, recently we've been pulling in some appointments through that. But historically, a lot of them haven't worked until recently. But, yeah, a lot of them are outbound phone calls too.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So I think before this Hangout, you were telling me that, you heard about viral marketing and you're like, oh my gosh, I had a heart attack. It was like $500 some for 2 videos a month. Why in the world do you pay us and not get it cheaper in the Philippines or do it yourself? I mean, really? Doesn't it seem like a lot of money to pay that kind of money for 2 videos a month? If you look at it as from an ROI standpoint, obviously not, but let's look at it from a how cheap could you get it standpoint or do it from yourself. What do you say to that?
I don't have to manage any of it, and there's somebody holding me accountable to do it, and there's a lot to say for that. It's worth paying for that alone. And sure, I could shoot the video and have somebody edit the video and have somebody else write the content and so on, but I would still be managing those people and managing that process. And at one point, I sat down in 2013 and figured out what I wanted my net profit, owner profit to be at the end of the year, and I divided by how many hours I wanted to work in the year and figured out what my hourly value was to myself. And I just decided to not do anything that I could delegate to somebody else for less than the amount of money it would take me. So
what is your hourly rate these days, Dave?
Right now it's about $325.
That's what you're worth. That's good. Yeah. Not many people know that.
Right. So anything I can delegate for that costs me less than $325 an hour, I'll try to. And I don't have to staff somebody and manage the process. And it was so much easier to hire you. You have the process down. You did so much more for me that we haven't even gotten into, as far as just helping me with the real estate business and us.
Well, those are the extra strategies. So you do the 2 videos a month, and then a whole list of extra strategies we can do 1 a month, like drip campaigns and neighborhood tour videos and stuff like that. But I want to keep this Hangout really on point with database, because that's the 80-20 rule. Ray has a good question. Thank you, Ray. Do you have a website? Let's give your website here again in a second. And if so, have your videos impacted any response from your website? I think he's believing SEO, maybe a search benefit or something like that.
I have. I've seen a huge benefit from it, as a matter of fact. And so the website is Dave Friedman TV. I have that website, and the only other website that I have is my clickcharlestonsc.com, which is my conversion buyer lead generation website. And so those are the only 2 that I use. And anytime I try to drive traffic somewhere, I drive it to the DaveFriedmanTV.com website that Frank built out for me, and they manage that whole thing. Anytime there's an update that I need made to it, they totally take care of it for me.
Give us a call. No extra charge.
Yeah, and so to answer your question specifically, yeah, I've never had people just call me and say, I found you on the internet, and I never had that happen in 2013. And I didn't have that happen for a lot of 2014, but I'd say over the last 4 or 5 months, we've had 5, 6 transactions where people were just Googling some kind of keyword phrases and trying to find a realtor and came across my website. So if you Google, if you try to Google, great realtor in Charleston or so, I bubble to the top sometimes, and people have found me that way. And I've literally pinpointed it because I'm very, very anal about finding out where my business is coming from, so I can measure my rate of return or return on investment. And so people have literally told me, I just simply did a Google search and your website came up, and we liked what we saw on there, and you looked like you knew what was going on with the market, and we called you and hired you. And those are the best because they come to you, they call you, and there's no competition. You walk in there, you get the listing, and and it didn't cost very much either.
That's great. One of the things that we'll do is, for anyone who signs up with us, we do a little keyword research. Is basically what are the words we put in the title of the YouTube video, and what are the words that we use in the description of the blog post. And Charleston real estate agent's usually a nice one, but that's usually what people really Google for. Usually they Google best Charleston realtor, or they Google the best Charleston real estate agent. And that person has the search intent of actually searching for an agent. So there's a little nugget for anyone watching. If you want to beat your competitors on SEO to get listings to be found online, try to optimize your stuff for best area real estate agent or best area realtor. Put those keywords in your stuff, and that's probably, I don't want to pull it up on the screen here, but I'm assuming that might be what we did. And people can go to YouTube and find out. You'd be surprised. YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world, next to Google. So people go to Google for products and information, but when they need to hire an expert, they actually go to YouTube to find someone that's actually talking about it. They watch their video to see you're intelligent and know what you're saying, and they contact you from that, which is pretty cool. So kudos to you, Dave.
Thank you.
Other questions? I know Jay Reed has one more. Oh, we have one more here. I was ready to sign up with the conversion. Do you still recommend this as a way to feed the database along with Facebook and LinkedIn? Great question, Jay.
Say that one more time. I didn't understand the first.
Jay Reed was ready to sign up for conversion. Do you still recommend this as a way to feed the database along with connecting with people on Facebook and LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. When I brought up doing some very inexpensive lead generation through Facebook in an effort to try to capture leads, I drive all that traffic to the one of Conversion's squeeze pages that I've made. And so they put their information in Conversion, and then about once a month, I just export all my Conversion contacts and then sort out the duplicates and put them into Top Producer, and then Viral takes them from Top Producer and updates their database that they have for me. So yes, I do. And I just use Conversion really to help me capture name, numbers, and emails. Not just through pay-per-click, but also through simply just trying to drive people there to put their contact info in.
Great. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. For anyone watching, before you go, I want to let you know that if you are interested in working with viral marketing, we can request a free strategy session up on our website. These aren't sales calls. And you're going to talk with my senior guy here, my right-hand man that actually works with me in San Diego in my office, to really figure out, okay, how big is your database? How many contacts do you have? What have you been doing to really figure out what your ROI would be if you would do this? Now, I'll tell you, Dave's is exceptional. Your ROI is 70x. I mean, kudos to you, man. We weren't expecting that, shoot for the moon, right? But, if you can get a good 10-time return on your investment, where if you spend the $525 or $550 a month with us, which it is now, and you're getting, $6-7 grand back a month every time it commissions, that's a really good investment, 10-time return. Some of our clients are even up as high as 40 times return. You just don't know. It depends how good your videos are and the size of your database. So I'm going to let you know that you're more than welcome to go to our website at getviral.com and get a free strategy session. And if you like these Hangouts, let me know. Leave a comment here in the comments. Let me know what you liked about it and what we could change, how we can make them different for you, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can sign up for our newsletter up on our website on Get Viral. And you can also follow us here on Google Plus to get more notifications of updates. So I'll go ahead and close that out. And Jay Reed, the Hangout tomorrow with Lars Hedenborg, larshedenborg.com. Look for his Google Plus page. You can RSVP there. And that's where we're going to go a lot deeper into more of a wider scope of like the coaching of basically how you take all this stuff and probably made sense of all of it, implement proven repeatable systems for other people to do. Right, Dave?
Absolutely.
Yep. And Lars is a wonderful client here at Viral Marketing and refers a lot of good business to us. So I'm happy to hang out tomorrow. So Dave, thank you so much for being on the Hangout today. And thank you everybody for coming today. And I look forward to seeing you on the next live Database Marketing Hangout. See you next time.